Hello, everyone. While we are waiting for OMC with her technical difficulties that she is experiencing, for some unknown reason, this OMC's partner hopped
Just
in and decided to join.
just some random account, just a random account, with a really cool icon. I'm here to support OMC.
Oh, okay. I guess that can be allowed. Do you, uh, um, do you know anything about this very important case that's she's wanting to update us on, or
Yeah, matter of fact, I know a lot about this case. It's wild that you asked that because I feel like there's an awful lot of people on media for the past 2 years who have not listened to a certain person who said the outcome of this case is going to turn out to be a certain way. Just wait and see. And look, today is that update. And we are going to wait for OMC to come in before we actually provide that update. But guys, if you all wouldn't mind doing a little vote here, put a one in chat if you'd be interested in an update on the David Lowe case, which is the corrections officer that was accused of selling keys to inmates when that very unfortunate incident occurred in the Clark County Jail under Sheriff Jamie Knowles' watch. Two in chat if you just don't care.
and while y'all are doing that, I do want to go ahead and thank Witchy Woman, also known as Lucy, um, for the super chat. And then there are several new members like Kusa Rising, Dennis the Menace. Oh, and look, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds gifted 10 official misconduct memberships. And wow, the Angry Vet. He
Oh
gifted
my gosh, you
50.
all.
Thank you guys. That is,
Lucy and Tav, you all are amazing. We love you. We love all of you. But those memberships, gifts, that was awesome for everybody. Thank you.
and I am okay. Never mind, Stephanie, you read my brain. Uh, But I do want to say thank you to everyone for coming in and helping to support official misconduct. Like I said, this OMC's partner person just kind of popped in and he wants to support her too. So I guess I can let him.
All right. Yeah, because this is not for public safety. This is OMC's partner up here. So what you gonna do, trolls? However, this update is phenomenal news, you all, and it should be plastered all over the national mainstream media. I don't know that you're getting it here first, but I do know that a lot of mainstream media is going to be embarrassed to publish this story, and that it's gone out in very few places so far, mostly just local to Clark County, Indiana. And the reason being is because, well, they had it wrong. They had it wrong the whole time. OMC's partner is a nerd. You are not wrong, Steve Albuquerque.
And Snapface OMC will be here shortly. She is experiencing technical difficulties right this second.
Oh, is she really?
So so we are um filling in for the star of the show. So we have to apologize that we're not, you know, that great. OMC is the best as far as being on her show. So,
Well, listen, you guys don't have to wait very long. When she comes in, she's going to cam up and you're going to see her beautiful face and all that. So it's not going to be just a couple boring icons up here chit chatting for much longer. Now that, I mean, well, bitch is not boring, but I tend to get a little boring on panels as OMC's partner sometimes.
can be very long-winded and doesn't allow conversation.
It depends on who you ask. You get other people, they're like, "Hey, can we get that guy up here so we have some content, please?" Like, we don't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we don't have nothing going on. We're bored over here. Get that OMC partner guy.
I don't know. I think and see, I've heard it both ways. I've
Right.
experienced it both ways.
Exactly.
Um, with you being very long-winded, but then with you also being able to have a conversation.
Well, let's just say never a boring moment. How about
There
that?
there we go. There we go.
I'm not the star of the show, but it's never a boring moment when I'm around.
Ask anyone who lied to FPS. Don't know, Angry Vet. Like I said, I don't know. That's all I can say on that because this is OMC's partner.
Yeah, I don't even know who you're talking about, Tav. You don't know me. You don't know me, bro. Oh, I see. He thought I was 4PS. That's what's up.
Oh, okay.
Nothing yet.
Okay.
We're waiting on you. Beautiful. All right. She's hurrying. So the technical difficulty was that we miscommunicated the time that she intended on coming up. so so Tiff was 30 minutes late, but she's almost ready. She'll be up here in just a moment.
And Integrity Now News. Hello. You guys, I do, like I said, I do want to thank you guys for all being here and supporting OMC.
Is there any way we could put the thumbnail up on the screen?
Maybe. Let me see where I have it. Whoops. Oh, and guys, while we're waiting, can you be sure and hit that like button, share this everywhere, and comment. Even the haters can comment. It helps the algorithm. And subscribe, and also check out the memberships. OMC does have membership options.
And it's all very much appreciated. As you all know, this is our only monetized channel. So for now, this is the only Obi-Wan Kenobi for us financially. So if you do want to support, this is it's kind of the only place to do it, really. I mean, other than PayPal and Cash Out, but we try not to ask for those. There you go. So put a one in chat if you saw the any of the playlist on the channel for public safety when it was on YouTube about the corrections officer who was accused of stealing keys and giving it to an inmate. Where, for YouTube purposes, I have to be careful how I put this. Where bad things happen to women all night long. Put a two in chat if you have no idea what we're talking about. I think a lot of people would probably remember that playlist. It's been a while. It's been, shoot, I don't know, almost 2 years, right? Is that about right? Do you know, Nikki?
It has been, well, it's been almost, yeah, at least 2 years.
I think it has. So, that being said, this gives you all some insight on how long it takes the government to finally come around full circle and do the right thing when they did something wrong. Um, Now, I will go ahead and tell you this much before Tiff gets in here and starts showing the receipts. Um,
Well, hang on. Zazania says a refresh would be nice. So,
okay, all right. So the sheriff that was arrested and convicted of what it ended up being was it he was charged with 21 felonies, but
was it 15 or 16 that he got convicted of?
I want to say 16 sounds right, something like that. He ended up getting convicted and just pleading guilty to like 16 of these felonies. Well, that was the sheriff that that was responsible for the sheriff's department that actually conducted the raid on us. And basically,
That's
the
Jamie Noel, right?
correct, Jamie Knoll. And that was the catalyst that started our YouTube channels. Was, we realized real quick when we started looking into this agency that corruption is very much real and that we had that problem right here in our backyard. Well, so this is the sheriff that ran the A&E TV program called 60 Days In. It was his facility. That's the jail that you see on TV, and that's the sheriff that authored that show that got caught doing all of these bad things, right? And one of the bad things that the sheriff had been doing was misappropriating his staff and taking money from the jail to spend in his own accounts. Okay. And what we showed you on the channel for public safety was that he was doing ghost employment where there would have been someone working at the jail. They were actually somewhere else in a lot of cases. That was one of the things he was convicted of. And then also, atop of that, they were blowing the commissary money, which is the funding that's necessary. It's like 50% of the jail fund that's necessary to keep the jail going, to keep it staffed, to keep supplies, to keep the food, to keep everything going right. Well, that was part of the money that was stolen, right? So, and misappropriated. So, if you followed on the channel for public safety back when we did all this saga, what had happened was there was this national case. It was huge where they were saying the sheriff's department put a PIO out, a public information release, saying that one of their corrections officers named David Lowe had sold the keys to the pods to one of the inmates. And the reason that they framed it like that was because the inmates got a hold of a set of keys and opened the doors and got to the women's side. And it was a huge national story. Like this huge, I think there was 23 women in the case that filed lawsuit.
Yeah, hang on. Um, Now is this David Blow the same person that Donovan was being a real bully to?
Yeah. So on the channel for public safety, one of the things that was nowhere else on the internet was a video of inside the interrogation room of an officer that used to work at Clark County Jail who doesn't work there anymore, who was basically spending hours trying to force this corrections officer to say anything that made it look like he was guilty of selling these keys. And so the people that got to watch that, and if you didn't watch that, I am going to be republishing that in a different format on my channel, on the channel 4PS, the real 4PS Chris Ryder, so that it's available. Because I don't know that video is out there anywhere right now other than, well, I know a couple places, but we're going to get it back so you can see it again, so it's available again now that this is all coming to fruition. And we're going to let Tiffany tell you the big news. So bear
Right,
with
but
us.
but first, was David with you at the ethics hearings when you were at Walmart?
Yes, David was with me at that time. We've known David Lowe since this case came about
Are
because
are you
David,
ready, misconduct?
oh, is she there? Good.
Are you ready to come up? You gotta give me a thumbs up. Say hello. You're the star of the show. Everyone has been waiting for you, and we have been just boring them and boring them and boring them.
Hi,
Hi,
Donna.
partner.
all that boring. But yeah, I was a bit delayed. I am so super sorry, everybody. Um, just a few
Oh
technical
my
difficulties.
goodness. You know what?
What?
That is a second 50 official misconduct memberships that the Angry Vet has just given.
Thank you so much,
Wow,
Angry
Tab,
Vet.
thank
And
you.
let me
So,
go
what all did I
see.
miss? You guys got to get me up to date on everything that's been going on my.
Actually, you have not missed a lot.
Well, so Tiff, I was filling people in who weren't, updated on this case, and where I'm at right now is we had gotten to the point where we met David after he had been charged for
Okay.
selling the keys, and we did discuss, the interrogation that will be again available on my channel later. But I think a lot of people had seen it and a lot of people hadn't. So we're kind of going over what they didn't see. Now, mind you, all this was published all over the national media, not
Yeah.
not just not here, not just in one state, all over the place, actually worldwide, and it's been on many YouTube channels and in all of these places where this story was available. The the people all picked up on the public information release that was provided by then Sheriff Jamie Knoll, who is now in prison. Okay. So the narrative was spun a certain way. And Tiffany and I ended up getting a message from this kid who says, "Hey, I was a correction officer at Clark County Jail. I know about your channel. I know about what you all been through." He's like, "I got some stuff for you I want you to look at. Can you help me?" And of course, we would like to see any facts that are available. So he brought us these facts and he brought us a few other things, and we looked at it all and we said, "Holy crap."
He brought us a lot of facts.
We said, "There's no, you are innocent. It's all right here. You are innocent. And this national story is bullshit." So Tiff and I felt like it was our civic duty to support this kid through this thing. And now realize this, you all. This kid's been going through this for like 2 years and has stayed silent while he
You know,
went
and
through
another thing I
litigation.
want to throw in is not only has he been dealing with the backlash of that being publicized, like the false information being publicized and him being charged, it also affected his career. I
He
mean,
lost his job. He had a really hard time finding employment, and then keeping it was another story.
yep, yep.
It didn't matter where he went, everyone recognized him and immediately just shunned him as if he were the devil himself.
Yep,
Because
I think it was his first job that he got after he lost his original job that I think they let him go because, they heard that he had that case pending.
right. Yeah, it was actually told to him that was the problem.
Yeah.
And you know, so this kid's been dealing with the legal system dragging their feet on this case for over 2 years.
Yep.
And I mean, could you all imagine? Could you imagine being accused of such a horrific thing and it taking being bonded out of jail, trying to reestablish your life? You got an entire sheriff's agency who's lying about you to media all over the world, and you got to try to live through your regular life until you finally get your day in court, right? Like, kind of sounds like somebody we know, right? Like this Chris Ryder guy and this
Yeah.
Tiffany Napier, you know.
Yep. But
And the justice system is so super slow. So what the government can do to a person overnight, it literally takes approximately 2 years to be able to rectify that. And that is one of the huge downfalls of having to be, part of the legal process. And that's anywhere. That's not just here in Indiana. That's everywhere you go.
I forgot to send David a message to let him know we were doing this here first.
Surprise!
Surprise, David. We hope you're watching. A lot of you
Well,
met David in chats a couple years ago when we published some of the information. Now he was very limited on what he could release while
Yep.
there was litigation, so we were very respectful and mindful of his attorney's wishes, and therefore there's been a lot of litigation that has gone on in which we did not publish along the way because we were asked not to during litigation.
Hmm.
Um, Tiff, you want to talk a little bit about your experience as a friend with David, like since we met him?
Oh, goodness. I just remember that initial meeting. God love his heart. He was a mess, and I can completely understand why. Um, it's like whenever something traumatic happens to you, it is kind of difficult to be able to explain it without throwing in an extreme amount of unnecessary details. And we had to help him work through that to where he could just, say the facts of what happened and not try to, overload people with information that wasn't relevant in that moment. So yeah, he was a bit of a mess, and I was just sitting there thinking, I was like, such a sweet kid just completely got, you know, steamrolled by the government because they needed a fall guy.
Framed. He was framed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well,
And,
now,
and nobody.
do
Oh,
you think he was framed because he was, I don't know, low man on the totem pole, or because he was, in other words, naive? This was his first job. It was somebody who was expendable by the government.
well, everyone's expendable from the government or by the government. I mean,
right.
unless you got yourself, knees deep into their dirty affairs, you're absolutely expendable. I'll give my opinion, Chris, and then you can throw yours out there if you want. I think that he was targeted, one, because he wasn't participating in the ghost employment. He was there to do his job, and he showed up every day to do his job, and he did his job to the best of his ability. And then he's also young, and I think that, until he had to go through this experience, he was very, very naive, very trusting, and a perfect target for somebody wanting to place the blame on somebody else.
He just texted me.
Did he?
Yeah.
And while your partner is busy with his text, yeah, not to be bossy or tell you what to do, but go ahead and say hello to everyone, and let them
I
know
see there's a
exactly
lot
what
of
we're
people in here.
talking about.
And was that snap phase that uh, did the $5 super chat?
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you
Snap.
so much, Snap.
And then did Lucy do something? I heard somebody say Lucy before.
Oh, Lucy did a lot.
What did
Um,
Lucy do?
if you go up to starred in the StreamYards,
Oh, okay. I see.
Oh, be careful. She's going to cry. You all do
How
realize
about I
that.
check that out later?
No, it's okay. Look, you ready to be surprised, hon? There have been what is it? 100 and how many? 100 and
110.
you have received 110 new members since this has started.
Holy crow. Thank you guys.
Oh, and there's the tears. See, now
Don't
you
start
Damn it.
crying yet.
Nothing to
thank you.
see here. Nothing to see here.
And Claire just
Claire,
did
thank you to David, and thanks to you both for supporting him. Well, we plan on doing an interview in the future with David.
Not far. I
Oh,
mean, we're
no,
gonna.
no, 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 no. Somebody needs to take this person's credit card and phone away from him, because now that makes 150 memberships just from Tav.
Tab,
Jeez,
thank
Tav.
you so very much.
Well, then Glock comes in with the big 9.99. Look at
Thank you,
everybody. They're trying
Paul.
to make you cry, honey.
Y'all enjoy seeing me cry, don't you?
It's been a rough month, y'all. We had nothing coming in after the channel was removed. So it's
But you
been
know
scary.
what? Even though it's been rough, it's been a month that's had quite a bit of good news. You know?
Yeah, we've actually gotten a lot of progress over the past. It's weird because right when we would have been able to jump up here and share a lot of good news with you all,
Pull my bread out of the oven, babe.
I hear it. All right, hang on.
I
Oh,
uh
wait.
I threw
He's
monkey bread
cooking?
in the oven.
He's cooking. What did he give you for Valentine's Day?
Um Valentine's Day I was sick. So we
Oh, that's right.
postponed any type of celebration until a later date when I could actually enjoy it. This flu has been pretty rough. So, but whenever we do celebrate, I will let you guys know what I get.
And yes, Wingspan, I think we all should be part of the pickle gang.
Oh, absolutely.
Take the pickle back.
That's our
See,
pickle.
Skip, that pan was really hard to hold. Were you trying to trick me and put it in a pan where you thought I was going to drop it?
It was a pan.
It's like a curvy pan. I almost dropped it.
God love your heart. Thank you.
Hello, KY Reacts.
Well, let's try to stay on track here. I think a lot of people need to, understand exactly what's going on with this case, and we've got a lot to tell.
So we did. Oh, and Dennis the Menace
Dennis
is
the
getting us
Menace.
off track.
Thank
Thank you,
you so
Dennis.
very much.
So
We
when
have the background. So for 2 years, this has lingered in the courts, and now there's a very important update. So,
well, actually, let me tell you my experience with David.
oh,
So
I forgot.
Yeah, we completely
yeah,
bypassed
because
that.
I mean, this has been the real life thing that people need to understand. When you're supporting, when you're backing somebody who's been railroaded or framed or you know done wrong by the government, I really want you all to learn from the inside out, like what's going on with these people, because when you actually meet one and stand by their side through it and see what they're going through on a daily basis, it will blow your mind what all and how it happens the government will do
Yeah.
to hurt you, to try to cover it up, and the thing about David's story was, I mean, he came to us pretty much day one with all the facts anyone would need to say, you're going to win this in court. This wasn't you. It was that easy right from the very beginning. And David had this huge heart for the people he worked with. He wanted to be a good person working in the jail. He wanted to back the blue. He wanted to prove to people that not all of them are corrupt. He wanted to believe in them. And I mean, he meant it from the bottom of his heart. And what I recall about David at first was how hard it was for him to tell the facts when he knew that there were going to be coworkers of his that were not going to be looking so hot. And
Yeah.
he really struggled with throwing them under the bus because, and it wasn't protecting the blue line. It was hard for him to handle seeing his coworkers also being negatively affected when they worked for an agency that was being ran by corrupt supervision. Am I saying that well?
Yeah, I think that was adequate.
Because it wasn't all of their faults. You know what I mean? And it affected so many of those employees.
Yeah.
And now I'll give you a little backstory on the inside workings of what really. Put a one in chat if y'all want to know what really happened first, or if you want me to kind of tell you what they said happened first. The two for
Hang
two for that.
on. Hang on. Is this the same person?
Hey, what's up, David?
I wanted to make sure that was his account because, people have gotten very creative with stock accounts recently.
Oh, they have?
How about it's probably
Right.
him because he just texted me and I told him we were here, so it's probably really him. Nikki, is there any way you can pull one of the articles or maybe one of the mainstream news clips from after it happened, and we'll just let the mainstream tell you the narrative from that? Can we do that?
I can work on that. Yeah.
Holy
Oh
crap!
my
Vigilance
God.
Committee, $100. Thank you so much, Cliff. You gonna read that
Okay,
out?
Official
I
misconduct said many months ago, Meade County is going to be in a pickle for what they have done. We have the pickle back. Yes, we definitely have a very I'm not going to say that. I started to
no,
say we have a
we
firm
have.
hold on taking the pickle back, but
There we go.
yes,
Well,
thank
and
you
Cliff,
so very much, Cliff.
and I
Cliff,
think
that
Kev
one
did
might have
one.
brought the tears.
I think Kev did one too while I was talking.
No, he gifted 50 more memberships.
Oh no, the Kev Factor, wasn't it? I thought I saw
Oh,
Yes, he
yeah.
did
$20.
20.
Yes, he did
Thank you,
20.
Kev Factor.
Did that have anything on it that needed to be read out?
It
Uh,
was the exposed TV link.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, that's a affiliate channel. An affiliate channel. Thank you very much for that.
He said, "Get your butts over there and subscribe. Turn notifications on."
Yeah, there will be. I am told that there will be some more content on the Meade County playlist coming out, but they're also going to be covering the Clark County stuff. So, but then there's also this channel, which is me, you know, using my original channel to just kind of rebuild my position on the internet.
Now, before I forget, I want to remind anyone that wasn't aware of it. Well, remind people that were aware of it and enlighten people that weren't aware of it. That Jamie Knoll created a Facebook group declaring his innocence in everything.
And at
As
the same
everything was,
time, he was painting the picture that the PIO release was, which was trying to
yep,
accuse and blame David Lowe for everything.
yep.
Keep going,
Um,
babe. You were doing great. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. So I was just going to say, at the same time that, new evidence was presented into court or, something else came to light in the public eye, he would publish something trying to refute it, saying, no, that's not what happened. And, basically pretending to be an honest and transparent individual, sharing all of the facts of the information with everyone who was, checking out his Facebook.
He
That
was
makes
even
if
he
you
was
guys
even
want
using his connections with the 60 Days In TV show stuff. He was trying to get them to help him produce a narrative.
now, if you want to get into the connections that Jamie Knoll had, wow.
Holy smokes, that goes all the way
Wow.
to Mike
There is
Pence.
absolutely no wonder in this world why he was able to get away with what he got away with for the amount of time that he got away with it. I mean, if I had people like that backing me, and I was trying to do something corrupt,
Yeah,
it would
you'd
be
get away with it.
very, very
There was
difficult.
so much protection from a state level all the way to a national level. I mean, the guy was the 12th district Republican Party chair. He was a donor of God knows how many campaign funds in the Republican parties across the nation. As a matter of fact, a lot of them refused to give the money back now that they know it was stolen. There's a lot of current there are current elected people that have been elected that are elected officials right now who
Yep.
know that their campaign fund came from stolen tax money and are currently refusing to give it back. It's wild all over
They said,
Indiana.
no, we're going to keep this dirty money. Jamie can just pay it back. It's fine. Which, I mean,
Okay, so
he has to pay back, what,
here's
3.1 million?
yeah.
Do you have a video clip or just this article? Do you want to read the article or do you want to do a video clip?
I can read the article. I can't find a video clip right now,
Oh, good.
but
Real
Maybe
quick
some
before
of
you
them
get
are.
into that, I want to tell Snapface thank you. It says now cuffs click tight, the bars stand tall. No more bribes, no deals to call. Soured fate begins to trickle, a crooked cop sealed in a pickle.
That's great, Snap. That was
Thank
awesome.
you, Snapface. That is fantastic.
I didn't know he was a poet.
okay, so this is from CBS News, which is mainstream media. And basically, you know, the female inmates at a prison in Indiana have filed lawsuits, not just one, but a pair of lawsuits, alleging they were subjected to a quote unquote night of terror when a guard sold keys to their cells to male prisoners who sexually assaulted them. In a pair of lawsuits filed in U.S. District Court, a total of 28 women said they were attacked shortly after midnight on the night of October 23rd, 2021, at the Clark County Jail in Jeffersonville. Which remind me, I have a question. The female prisoners accused the guard at the facility, David Lowe, of providing the key to the male inmates for $1,000. So, even though the incident involved multiple male detainees and dozens of victims over an extended period of time, not a single jail officer on duty that night came to the aid of the plaintiffs and the other victims. So, okay, this answers my question. These systematic failures allowed numerous male assailants to have free run of the jail for several hours, resulting in a night of terror for the plaintiffs and other victims. The lawsuits allege that the male inmates did a few things that they shouldn't have done. Although they were the victims, jail officials actually punished the women, the lawsuit said, leaving their lights on for 72 hours straight, placing them on lockdown, and confiscating personal items. Besides naming Lowe as a defendant, the lawsuits also accused Clark County Sheriff Jamie Noel of negligence for failing to prevent the attack.
Whoa, can you read that line one more time?
Besides naming Lowe as a defendant, the lawsuits also accused Clark County Sheriff Jamie Noel of negligence
Hmm.
for failing to prevent the attack. A sheriff at the jail, they have one job, one, and that's to keep inmates safe and secure. And it's just a complete, utter failure that allowed this to happen. Oh, so it was Jamie's fault that this happened.
Well, okay. So this lawsuit alleged both that it was Lowe under Jamie that allowed it to happen. But David needs to quit giving away everything in chat. We got you, buddy. All
He's
right.
just excited.
So here was the very first thing that happened that we did not update you all on during litigation. When that lawsuit came to the table and it was time to pick it apart with the facts, the very first move that, to the best of my knowledge, that was made was they dismissed the case against David, but they held the case against Noel. So, like me and Tiffany were saying when we met David and he gave us a handful of facts, we can only assume that the lawyers in that civil rights case also saw enough facts to know, hey, David Lowe's not responsible for what he's being accused of here. Therefore, we will dismiss David from the case. Now, that was a very exciting moment for the people who knew. And it was really hard for us to respect David's wishes and his lawyer's wishes to not talk about that publicly. So we were really biting our tongues when that happened because we knew, hey, this thing can only go one way. Like, they're not going to get away with this, with painting this picture that it was all David's fault and that he sold keys to an inmate. And then another huge thing happened. You guys want to hear the next huge thing that happened?
Hang on a second, Chris.
Okay.
Did you say that the civil lawsuits found David not responsible?
No, what I said, we got to be careful with these words. So
That's why I'm asking.
the lawsuit itself was not dismissed because they withheld the lawsuit against Jamie Knoll still in the jail. But David very particularly was dismissed. Meaning, well, that can only mean one thing. You all can figure it out.
Well, and another thing that I want to highlight is, again, that Noel was charged with, ghost employment.
Yeah, I brought that up a little while ago. Right.
I just want to, circle back around to that because it's really important if you try to understand how something like this could happen.
Yep. Understaffed. Where's the staff at? That's a problem. When you're trying to run a jail, you need a full staff.
Exactly. And I mean, that's the reason why nobody responded, because nobody was there.
And we'll get into further details soon. Let's try to keep it shallow until we talk to David completely about how, get permission for everything we're going to talk about. So I don't want to get too deep, but we definitely got some really good stuff to offer that's all public record at this point.
Well, and that was actually my question, was how did the other jail officers or officials or whatever, how did they not see that this was going on and come and help these women? That was my question, was who was responsible for that? And it kind of got answered because, Jamie Knoll was the sheriff. He was in charge of that. So I guess it would have been his responsibility. And thank you, OMC. I do have that clip if you want me to show that.
I got something I want you to do, Nikki, if you wouldn't mind, please. Go to hey Tiff, where's the criminal records for? Well, maybe we shouldn't bring this up on the screen.
No.
I don't want to show a last name. I'm just going to say it.
I want to redact any of that.
Yeah,
stuff.
Let me go ahead and just say the thing. Okay, so this is huge. So first, David was dismissed from the lawsuits, right, which was the civil action. And not, listen, I am not taking away from what happened that night. What happened that night, no matter what, is right and what's wrong and this, that, and the other. It was an awful, I agree with the title of that thing, A Night of Terror. That
it should have never have happened. It absolutely should have never have happened, but they placed blame at the feet of the wrong person.
That's what we're talking about here, you all. So make sure you understand that the point of this is that there was one individual who was framed. Okay. Mm-hmm. And we're going to bring receipts before this is up. So just hang in there. We're telling you as we go. So first that happened where David particularly was dismissed from the civil suit. And now we're thinking, okay, the truth's going to come out. It's going to be short from here now. It's not going to take much longer. Well, that was a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And then another huge thing happened. There was a criminal proceeding against an inmate, and he was found guilty of stealing the keys. Stealing the keys. Not purchasing the keys. Not working a deal out and conspiring to get the keys, but stealing them. Now, I might have been born on a Wednesday, but it wasn't last week. And when you tell me that you have convicted someone of stealing a set of keys, and in the same breath you're going to tell me that someone sold him the keys, I know there's a problem there.
Right.
You could not have sold the keys to a person who got convicted of stealing them. That's not how it works. So when that inmate was convicted, that was the big moment. Everybody was like, great, it's out now. Everyone's going to be able to say what really happened now. It's all going to come out.
Okay.
But that was a year ago.
So
And
there are some questions that are coming up in chat. So someone sent me the video that we were looking for, the link to it, and it has the camera footage from inside the jail.
Right. Yeah, I have that. I mean, if you want to play a little bit of it, you can. I mean, do you know that video well enough to go to where it matters?
That's the reason I wasn't too, eager
It's
to
an hour.
play it because
It's an hour and a half long. And that's with no editing. And I know that we provided it to a couple of channels that really did a lot to help us out. Matter of fact, let's name them. I know one of them changed the name of his channel, but it was 8MC. Does anyone have his new channel name? It's still 8MC, but it used to be called 8 Minute Crimes. And it's an interrogation channel. He really helped us out a lot with this case. And then mods, if you find his channel, link that for us, please. And then the other one was Rogue Nation. Rogue put a lot of elbow grease into this with us and really helped us with this. I would say that we can save the video because I've got the full copy. I think we'll save that for when I do like the next part of this on my channel.
Well, maybe it can be like a focal point to help David sort of explain his important aspects of what occurred inside the jail.
What do you want me to help you guide to where like the meat and potatoes of what?
Well, the only thing that, let me go back up to that comment. Hang on just a second. Bear with me, guys.
And actually, I want to comment on Jason Casey. He is asking questions and saying a few things, like that the lawsuit is a money grab. If the lawsuit was a money grab, if it were not a true lawsuit, then we wouldn't be able to bring you this update. They did get violent in there. They male inmates did do things that should not have happened in the jail. And the person who was responsible is not one of the people who they were saying is responsible for it. They dismissed the lawsuit on him.
Just for him, just his portion of it.
On his part.
And then they settled the lot of it. So there's an NDA on the lawsuit for a good reason. That needs to be highly protected because of what happened to those women. Mm-hmm. And not all that information, in my opinion, should be public. However, I get where Jason's coming from, because this is what we were saying, bud. The sheriff used his resources, knowing that he was at very least guilty of negligence, and was trying like crazy, desperately to shift the narrative. And you repeated exactly what he gave you and the media to repeat. That's exactly what Noel was doing. Noel spent all of his time and resources trying to spin the narrative of what happened and suggest that it was all a big lie and that he fired the guy that was responsible. And, oh, look, at the end of the day, he didn't do nothing wrong. That's what he wanted you to believe. That is what the police department, the sheriff's department, gave that information to the public, and the public just ran with it. They
Mm-hmm.
ran with it like a bunch of idiots. Look, just because the sheriff looks you in the eye and says, here's what happened, that doesn't make it a fact. And
Right.
that's what they tend to do. And they do that with the media too. That there were some media in this that were looking at it and trying to dissect it. And they did not slander David. And for that, we're grateful that we still have some journalists out there who are extremely careful with the information that they receive. And they did pretty good jobs. But there were a few, like you just read, that went right along with what Scotty Maples said on the podium that day.
Yep.
Hey Tiff, I've been asked, are you gonna do the same thing that other channels have done? Are you gonna accept super chats to take people down off of panel, you put them in jail for 5 minutes or whatever?
I don't know. That might be kind of fun.
More people are, I have gotten a few texts about that. But anyway, David, yes, we do have that paperwork, and I will bring it up when Tiffany is ready.
Before we do that, one thing I do want to say is there are a lot of people that, throw out some flack about civil lawsuits, thinking, that it's just, a money grab, like the other person said. And I understand the perspective that they were coming from whenever, they said that. But what a civil lawsuit does is it brings attention, the attention of the public to the facts that occurred. Without the civil lawsuits and the civil litigation that goes through the court process where people can see those documents, the public isn't going to know exactly what occurred. And, that person the person who is, charged with the crime, or, the government did something, bad to them, they could look bad for the rest of their lives. So a civil lawsuit is, yes, so they can get some money, because a civil lawsuit isn't going to stick unless you have damages.
Right.
You have to
There
be
you
able
go.
to show that you were damaged in a way that monetary compensation can make you whole again. And when I say make you whole again, it doesn't make you whole. You don't get back, enough to compensate you for how much you have lost. But what it does do is what I just said. It brings the issue to the eyes of the public, and that is exactly what needs to happen.
And per our experience, you would be shocked and surprised at how much you have to prove before that lawsuit hits the record. It's not like you can just say something happened and file it and give the money and it goes on public record. That is not how it works. They scrutinize the hell out of you through that process to ensure that you have facts that back your claim.
Now, whenever you do like a civil lawsuit in local court, I think that that's a little bit more lenient. But whenever you do a civil suit in a state or federal court, so like ours that we filed, we had to file it with the Southern Indiana District Court, which is federal. The process of that is a lot more thorough. Like the paperwork that you have to fill out, everything that you have to include, the claims, the times, what evidence you have, you have to provide all of that. Like they have to know that you have a legitimate claim.
Yeah, there's no like there's very little chance that people are actually bringing just frivolous claims. Like by the point you can see it on public record, it is very unlikely that it is a completely frivolous suit.
Right.
Like that notion needs to stop. I think people like JJ Scarborough are spinning that kind of notion. The ones that are going, it ain't true. There ain't no truth to it. This is a complete lie. Anybody can pay $200 or $300 and go down there and get a lawsuit on somebody. That is not true. That's not true.
And I mean, if somebody was to go through that process and they were to be able to, make it into the beginning stages of the court process, it would be dismissed. It would be dismissed immediately, right off the bat, within the first month of it being, public record, put on the docket.
And they would hold you accountable for making that action.
Oh, yeah.
Real quick.
That's a waste of resources and a waste of the court's time. So, yeah, I mean, it would take a very ballsy individual to file civil action, especially against a government entity, if what they're saying, if their claim holds no merit. So
let's acknowledge those super chats real quick and move on to the next part of the subject.
I don't think that my chat is like rolling. So
we had 2 really awesome super chats a moment ago. I saw one from Tab for $50 more.
wow.
Yeah, and it said
yes,
that he was paying to listen to Tiffany.
To Tiffany, right. And then the next really awesome one was
Dennis
from
the Menace, and he said, mute Chris because it's Tiffany's channel.
Exactly.
And
more?
oh yeah, but not super chats. But Stephanie Jenks said $1 a minute to oh my god, actually she said, oh my god, thank you. $1 a minute.
and look, I can appreciate listening to Tiffany talk as well. So here's the deal. The thing is this. We need your all's attention long enough to make sure that you're seeing the receipt that we are going to provide to you today. So you're going to want us to get to that, y'all. You're going to want us to get to that. There is so much convolution in this case that we could make an entire playlist. We could go on live streams for weeks discussing all the factors. And we will.
And
we got no problem.
Follow all of those branches, and yeah, it would take months probably.
Especially if you're watching all the clips and videos and retaliation videos and the interrogations and all, like, remember all that stuff that they put out there to try to sway, like it's weeks worth of footage that we could go through. And look, put one in chat if you all want us to take the time right here on OMC to slowly disperse all that information. 2, if you just want us to get to the point and cut it down and end it for you, you know.
And what we would do for that is we would set aside another day. That way it doesn't, overlay or overshadow anything that I've already told you guys that we're going to do. So if you guys want us to get into stuff like that and you would like for us to do, these panels and dig into, the facts of everything that happened in Clark County, then we would set aside a separate day to do that.
Yeah. And we do have interviews with David coming up soon. I'm sure he's got some non-disclosure things going on. We are definitely not going to mess this case up anymore because the poor kid has been through enough. And hopefully, if enough of us pick this story up and provide the end game to the public, if we can get enough of the public to reverse at least some of the damage that he's suffered, I would feel like we provided. I feel like we owe that for some reason. Like, I feel like it's my civic duty. I'm sure Tiffany feels like it's her civic duty. Knowing David.
The reason behind that, Chris, is because we were just sort of sucked into the whole Clark County mess. I mean, we aren't residents of Clark County, but lo and behold, they decided that they wanted to show up at our door one night. So,
yeah. And I did pay taxes on the property that I had there.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying we didn't live there. There's a difference between having property there and living there. We've, ever since we got together in 2019, we've lived here in Lanesville, and I never would have imagined that a group of, for lack of a better word, we'll just say thugs, decided that they wanted to come and beat down our door.
Yeah. Yeah, the Clark County Sheriff's Department has been way out of control for a long time. That's how their sheriff ends up in prison. Hey, I tell you what, I want you to have time to, just you without me here, to hang out with your audience. So let's do the part that I'm here for real quick. Nikki, if you will display The document that we gave you originally, I want to go over that real quick. You guys ready? Drum roll. You're going to love this, folks. Oh, is that David's case?
Oh, I thought I did something wrong. I was like, no, send her the wrong one.
Look at that. The outcome after 2 long years. Dismissed. Dismissed.
Can you guys see that okay? I'm sure you can't see it if you're on a phone. Nikki, is there thank you. You read my mind.
Dismissed against David. Now look, it doesn't mean that the entire situation was dismissed. This is
Right.
specifically against David, the one that they accused of selling keys to a guy that stole them, really. This
Yep.
is the kid that had thought he was so lucky to finally get a job that he wanted to spend his entire life doing, which was law enforcement, who thought he was going to go into this place and make the difference that you all want to see, which is a person who is not a tyrant, who does tell the truth, who does do his job. He thought he was going to be that for you. And in his first year of employment, he was framed and raked through the coals
Yep.
by a dirty, corrupt government official who is now in prison. But you are looking at a dismissal of the case against the kid that was framed. And the reason it got this, oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, for those of you that can't see it clearly, it just says motion to dismiss comes now, the state of Indiana, by Jeremy Mull, prosecuting attorney, 4th Judicial Circuit, and moves the court to dismiss the above styled case. In support of said motion, the state of Indiana states as follows. It is in the best interest of justice that the case be dismissed. Dated February 13th, 2025. Signed, Jeremy Mull, prosecutor, Clark County, Indiana.
Congratulations, David.
Yes,
We
congratulations.
wish that this could have happened for you so much sooner. Everything that poor guy's been through, I feel so bad for him, and hopefully this can be the start of reversing all the damage that was done to the kid. Today is the beginning of starting the repairs for you, David. And we are in your corner. We're going to do everything we can. But this is great that we have this audience right now, because right here on YouTube, there have been multiple YouTube channels who went with the sheriff's narrative and published video after video after video. So here's what I'm going to ask of you all before I walk the dog and smoke a cigarette and give Tiffany up to you. Please, when you see David Lowe's face plastered in some negative, demeaning way, go over there and tell him this is the outcome, because it's not what you thought it was. And if you want to know what really happened, then you will be able to obtain that information from this couple, OMC and for public safety. They will be providing. We did it once, but we have to redo it. So we're going to redo that for you. And in the meantime, David reminded me, if Ahmad will go to the channel real quick and grab the link for Couch Detectives, that's Lee from 8MC who helped us with his interrogation.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So if Ahmad will put Lee's channel up so that you guys can make sure you sub. He actually started his channel growth like right when For Public Safety was starting, and we collabed together, and he is really doing well. So I'm very happy for Lee and appreciative that Lee helped us with this story. So I actually need to call him and give him an update. I'm sure David probably has, but there's a lot more to this, you all, and you will get that information from us. But like I said, for the rest of this, I'm going to bow out and let you all hang out with Tiff and Nikki. But thank you so much for supporting David through this thing, because I know, it's hard to trust anybody that ever wore a badge for this group. I get it, but when we were showing you those facts, we just knew that it wasn't right to continue to. We didn't want to help them lie and frame and railroad this kid. So I'm so happy to see that they finally, after all this time, dismissed David's case.
Let's see.
Oh, and they did convict the inmate that stole the keys. So it's not like nobody was held accountable. I don't want
Yes,
anybody running off thinking that.
accountability as far as how the key, was
That person was convicted of that crime, and Jamie, the guy who was responsible for running the entire facility, he is in prison. So, all right, you all, I love you, and I'll see you on the other side of things.
Bye. Tab says Diesel just called me and asked where his dad was. Thank you,
Yes,
Tab.
Jody, that is correct.
Yes.
Donovan did interview David.
Yep. And then somebody else, I can't remember, they were talking about, the chewing tobacco and, how aggressive the interview was. And we'll include that like later on whenever we do like refreshers and publish stuff about the incidents that occurred. You guys will get to see the video footage of that. And it was horrific what David had to go through during that interrogation that was deemed an interview. So, yeah, we'll definitely share that with you guys. If you haven't seen it, you'll be able to see it. And if you have, then we'll just do a refresher of what led us up to, what we just seen.
Thank you, Taylor. And
Thank you,
Tip,
Taylor.
Freedom Fighter thinks it should just be you up here.
Well, that's the reason I sort of said that we could designate a day where it would be, the two of us going over the stuff from Clark County. And I never really did a vote on that. So if you guys want me to, set aside and schedule a day that we can do Clark County stuff, then put a 1 in chat for me. Those are days that, you're more than welcome to tune in. You can get the back history as to everything that led up to this moment. And for those of you that enjoy seeing the two of us up here together and, with Nikki also now, then I think that would be a perfect way to work it out. And then another thing is while we were going through the whole Clark County thing, I was the one that was spending the majority of the time researching. I was having to try to learn how to keep up with our federal lawsuit, which took a lot of time. I was working full time, and I didn't really handle the hands-on part of stuff that we were receiving. Like whenever David, told us what had happened to him, Chris is the one that mainly paid attention to all of that information. And I learned what I needed to learn. And, I seen the documents, I seen the facts of it enough to know that everything was true, that it was accurate. And then I just researched like the textbook side of it. That's what I've really always done. That's always been my thing. So, having his input, Chris's input on this stuff is very, very helpful because, he's the one that knows a lot more of the information than I do. I could sit here and probably bore you guys to death with the textbook stuff that I learned, but it wouldn't make much sense unless you guys was able to get the story too. Let's see. So I'm seeing some ones for sure.
Jason
I am
Casey,
a booker.
Yes. That is the Exposed TV link, probably.
Yes, Jason, that's the way that he decided that he wanted to do the videos. Let's see. With Nikki. Phoenix. Where did that comment go?
This one.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, actually, he said, Phoenix did say earlier that it would be funny if Chris did have an e-collar and you had the controller, and then you could video it every time you zapped him. That would be a funny video.
So like misuse of a bark collar, kind of.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, so um, we have the update. I still have that news story if you want me to pull that.
I think we'll save that. It may be
Okay.
something that would be more beneficial while, you know, we're talking to David, or maybe something to publish like right before or right after, because it's a pretty lengthy video. Like if you get it, the actual video itself and not just the news clip, which the news clip that I was sent is actually one of the better ones also. That's what you have, Nikki. Um,
Yeah, I do have the news clip. I don't have the lengthy video. Um, but basically, with your with what you're trying to do is you're trying to tell, not really tell, but educate, I guess is the word. Educate people on how to not give up.
yeah, and showing the process of what to expect if you are involved in a situation like what David was or what we have been and actually currently are. It's not what you expect it to be. Everybody thinks that it's just something that's, super easy. You just go through it, and you get justice. Well, that's not
You
always the
mean
case.
you don't just sit there and be quiet and
I
not
wish.
fight back and
It is a continuous effort to document and maintain, everything in an organized manner that occurs from the point of the damages up until the date of, the hearing, like the final hearing, or, if you guys decide to settle, you have to keep track of everything because it's ongoing damages. Thank you very much. Yeah, I was a bit of a mess coming in here because, whenever you're running late, everything sort of blows up at that time. Mine and Tiffany and Chris's case is why you don't give up and don't take plea deals if you did nothing wrong. Don't take a plea. That's what they want. Exactly. Absolutely. One of the other things that I sort of wanted to touch base on, um, completely forgot.
that's okay. Freedom fighter, we are aware of that channel doing that, and that's okay. Um, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. Haters are gonna hate. Lovers are gonna love, and we can all just say, what was it that he got? Oh, hi, little homie.
I got something for you to do.
Little homie.
Little homie. Hey, I got something for you to update.
What?
Inform your audience that SCARS 501 was real the whole time and it's on record now.
Oh, yeah. That is something that is important to get out there.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted me to say it, so
Yeah,
and
definitely. Because, I mean, Tav and Scars has been receiving a lot of flack because people have been saying that, they didn't have their ducks in order, basically.
you're right. And you know what? I actually do have the link
Nice.
to the letter, and everybody can go to the IRS website and go to tax exempt organization search. Actually, let me go ahead and pull that up and I'll show you guys how to do it because isn't this what your channel's about is showing people how to do things?
Absolutely.
Okay, as long as you're sure I can do this.
No,
um,
I changed my mind. No, I'm kidding.
all right. Yeah, it's your channel and everything. I don't want to be too bossy.
Oh,
Um,
you're good. You are good.
so as I said, you can go to irs.gov, tax exempt organization search. And let me stop sharing for just a second because I do need to. Okay, I had to make sure of something before I did that. Sorry.
Little homie.
You can go to tax exempt organization search, database, search all, search by organization name, enter organization name right here, and type it in. As you can see, I've already been in here and hit search and watch the little thingy spin.
On the game
Mm.
system, that was
Oh,
called the Wheel of Death, wasn't it? Or Ring of Death or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. And you click on the organization name
Uh-oh, what is
and
that?
a determination
Happened?
letter, servicemen and citizens,
Uh-oh.
and look, IRS. Let's see, can
Shut the
I make
front
this
door.
bigger? Does it need to be bigger?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Scars. Effective date was June 28th, 2024.
Oh, wait, that was last year.
Yeah. And look, we're pleased to tell you you
Yes, they
are
do, Dylan.
exempt from federal income tax under IRS code 501c3.
Yep. Look at that beautiful document.
Yep.
All those people going after scars and, Tav and saying that they weren't legit, but right here, it's been documented. It was effective. I mean, June 28th, 2024. And I don't know how many times we have to say, sometimes the government is slow. And, seems like they may have been just a little slow in their process getting it published.
Well, I
They
can
probably
tell
have a
you
set schedule for that, don't they?
actually, I can tell you for a fact that it can take up to 27 months.
Okay, so theirs is, online and public a lot quicker than what it could have taken. So that
Mhm.
just goes to show, I mean, can't always assume that what I guess you're not seeing is accurate. Did that make sense?
Yeah,
So
that made sense.
I was trying to run it back through my head. Um, so one of the things that I was considering throwing out there to give you guys is the new stuff that Trump has signed in regarding family and social services and DCS. Has anybody seen any of that stuff?
I saw where he is, or what I saw where he wanted to put a freeze on federal funding,
Mm-hmm.
except for Social Security. He said that Social Security wasn't going to be affected.
Right.
So, and that was my question is, and it was also the grants to the people, meaning going directly to the people.
Yep. Um,
So, I was wondering how that would affect, you know, all of our not ours per se, because like, but Head Start, um, SNAP, WIC,
Well,
other government programs that are helping. Um,
let's see. So they weren't lying when they said it wasn't a registered 501c3 before, because it wasn't. It was approved on Friday and they've made it retroactive. I heard the hater channels announce this first. Well, I'm sure you did hear those channels skim over it really quickly. And, that's okay. They can do as they wish. But Scars, would you like to throw something in the chat for me to address that comment with?
well, since I've already been outed as one of the or as the secretary for SCARS, I
What?
yeah. We are a 501c3. We were not scamming anyone. We were actually said, or we were actually operating legitimately, because when the organization was incorporated, there were lawyers involved. We did talk with the IRS. We did get everything filed. Unfortunately, as we have all seen, government takes its time.
Yep. Yes, they do.
Uh, do you want your partner back up?
Bring Chris back and let him explain it. All right. And
Yeah, I'm
while
just
Chris,
gonna hop in
I
real
was just
quick
going to say, hang on,
and
hold your horses. While Chris is explaining this, I'm going to step outside and then I'm going to peek in and check on my bread real quick and make sure it didn't do anything crazy. So I'll be
oh,
right
your
back.
bread's perfect. I already took care of it, but yeah, you can
You
take
just
a
pulled it
break.
out of the oven. You didn't take care of it.
Um, so when it comes, I've learned a little bit about 501c3s over the past year because, as you all know, Scarborough was involved in some scamming while he was participating in trying to call TAV's real nonprofit a scam. So I learned a lot about nonprofits, maybe not enough, but I did learn enough to be able to say this. All of the tax exemption stuff is is allowed to be pretty far behind. So like a nonprofit can operate for a full 2 years without having to report everything on taxes or to the
27 months.
there you go, 27 months. Therefore, if a person is starting up a nonprofit, it can be up to 27 months before they ever even need to file for that exemption. It's not necessary. So, for anyone who is saying that it was okay for these people to lie and call scars a scam when they didn't even understand the aspect that it takes, these people are allowed to take 27 months before it gets registered online on public record. So, why on earth would you immediately condemn and attack a nonprofit without being able to prove that it is a scam? That's not okay. You're talking about an agency that is representing veterans, an agency, a nonprofit,
And
a well
citizens.
meaning nonprofit was out there to help veterans and more, and was immediately attacked by haters on YouTube. There is no defense for that. And I hope that TAV sues the living shit out of the people that were responsible for doing that. That is not okay.
All I can say is it is all out there now. The public, it's on record, and now it is time that Scars actually can start on its mission where we, as Scars, do not have to continue to go against the haters or have to continue to try and prove that the negatives that are being said are false. Um,
It's time to focus on the mission that you started with.
right, right. We can focus on our mission. And thank you, Stephanie. Yes, we did. Uh, Angry Vet gave Todd $20 in a super chat, and it said it was to cover his donation. And one of his guests said that, YouTube takes the 30% or whatever. So I gave $10 to cover the 30% that YouTube would take off of the $20, plus the 30% that it would take off of mine, plus a little extra. So that $20 is negated.
So, in other words, you didn't want Todd's damn money when he was doing it for nefarious purposes anyway?
I'm not going to say he was doing it for nefarious purposes. I'm saying that it just goes to prove that some people are bigger than, oh, Todd requested a refund.
Well, I'll tell you this. Shortly after he donated the $20, I caught him saying that he was only doing it because he thought that he was going to file something with the IRS against it. To He thought that somehow he was going to be proving that it was a scam, which it wasn't.
Oh, well, no, it's not a scam. We have our mission. We have a mission statement on the YouTube page. We are working on getting a website up. Um, there was some sabotage that was done,
Mhm.
and the website we have been locked out of, but we are going through, unfortunately, the slow process um, of having to deal with things. So, for everyone who has supported Scars all along, please continue to support us. Please continue to spread the word. And most importantly, guys, please continue to support the Angry Vet. This is his dream, his mission in life. He wants to help everyone that he can. This is one way that he's doing it. But this isn't supposed to be about Scars. This isn't supposed to be about the Angry Vet. It's not supposed to be about me. This is Tiffany's channel, but she left us. So,
Well, let's just put it like this. What's been awesome about this stream and everything that's been on here shares in common is that this has been a night of redemption for David Lowe, for Scars, for the sheriff getting busted, for the person that stole the keys getting caught and convicted. Like, this is a night of justice.
okay, I can see it that way. Um,
You know what I like more than anything when we do these YouTube panels? When the truth finally comes out. You hear a lot of people screaming, "Oh, the truth, the truth, the truth." Well, I love the truth. I love when the truth gets to come out. And I especially love it when liars have been lying and the truth comes out and it doesn't look so good on them no more. I really like that for some reason. Call me petty.
Okay, Patty. I think that's what I'm gonna call you.
I'll take petty. It's better than tub waffle. All right. Well, I love you. Tips on our way back to the camera, so
Okay.
I'll be in chat.
And of course, now I'm up here by myself, and this is not what you guys have come to this channel for. You guys have come to this channel for Tiffany.
I'm here. I just got to figure out how to turn my camera back on.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Yes, caveman, it is crazy that the haters made it all about Tab and me. They took the spotlight off the fact that SCARS was created to help all of the veterans that the government threw aside onto the streets. It's also not just for veterans, it is also citizens, just so everyone is aware. See, we want Tiff. We want Tiff.
I'm sorry. It's been hectic the past couple of days here. So, our basement, it's unfinished, and we got a ton of rain yesterday. So, of course, it decided that yesterday it was going to flood. So I was, mopping that mess up. And then out of nowhere, the rain turns to snow and ice. So I sent Chris out to go to the store today. I was like, I'm not traveling on that. No, thank you. You can do the store run today. So it's been hectic trying to get everything caught back up. And, of course, I was late today, and I am really, really sorry about that. It was a miscommunication on my part with the time. So, but what I was saying a while ago with the stuff that has recently been signed by Trump as far as family and social services and DCS, I haven't really got to dig into it and, read everything, so I can't really share anything with you guys. But for the people who are interested in DCS stuff, I wanted you guys to be aware that some stuff has been signed, and it's definitely worth taking a look at. I'm going to.
I have that link that you sent me pulled up.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
You want to pull it up for just a sec?
Yep.
6 inches of rain nightmares adventures. That is crazy.
Is this the one you were talking about?
Yes, that's one of them. I found a couple actually. But yeah, this is one of them. So it says the Trump administration calls for a funding freeze, could total hundreds of billions of dollars with sweeping impacts on social safety net programs serving children and families. Under threat, child protection and juvenile justice, private foster family agencies, homeless shelters, and nonprofit providing foster care services. So everybody knows that I'm definitely not for DCS, but it kind of makes me wonder how much it's going to make them a worse agency without, or would that even be possible to make them worse?
Well, I'm just wondering if the funding freeze.
I'm just wondering if that is going to affect like their employees. Like, are they going to have to cut back on people now because they didn't have enough people to begin with to be investigating cases appropriately? So I don't know. I think it's definitely something I'll get back with you guys on once I know more about it. I just have a lot of questions, and I have even more concerns.
Well, and like you, I have to say, um, you're correct in not agreeing with DCS, DCFS, CPS, whatever it's called in whatever area. Um, because there are cases where they get involved and they do take children from parents that don't need to be. But there are also times when the agency does get involved and they do um, save children.
Yes. Um, for the times that they do save children, I am happy that they're there. But I just feel like there should be a better process in place. The people that are doing the investigating, I don't feel like they receive adequate training. Because if you think about it, they're handling investigation materials just like law enforcement would have to do. And they don't know what they're doing. So they're not getting properly trained. And I can say that from a personal perspective because I experienced it. They don't know what they're doing. And I feel
Well,
like in my case, it was intentional because I had all of the evidence and I was shoving it in their face. But that may just be a case by case basis. And whenever I speak about DCS, I'm primarily speaking of my own personal involvement. But then whenever I share facts about DCS, like whenever I say I know that this is a fact and I can pull up a document to show you guys, then you can trust that I've researched that and I've read it and I will share it with you guys. If I don't pull it up on screen, I'm going to share a link so that you guys can go and see the location where I obtained the information, where I learned about the subject we're talking about. It's not going to be just like me blindly putting stuff up here and putting my biased opinion on everything because I am biased. I understand that.
and you are biased, and I think that, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's why you asked me to kind of help you with this is
Mm-hmm.
um, because as you have said, we've talked and I can see like both sides. So, um, you
And I,
know,
I try to keep my personal bias out of all of the information I share with you guys. It took me several years to be able to do that. That was one of my delays, among other things, with sharing that information with you guys. It's because I wasn't in a good enough place to be able to appropriately discuss everything involving DCS and be able to give it to you guys without, smacking my own personal bias stamp all over it. So, I am finally there, I believe. And whenever I first started doing this, I don't think that I would be like honest with everybody saying, yeah, I have a bit of a bias towards them because they completely screwed me over. So I think I've come a long way as far as, being able to grow on an individual basis and be able to realize that I'm not being fair whenever I'm sharing information. So,
and
Dennis and
yes, you
Dennis,
have.
I am not going to share updates about those cases. Anything that is specifically about my children, I'm not going to give updates. I I will share because it is public information. It's on, the internet that we are in current litigation. Other than that, though, I'm not going to share any of that information, and I'm sorry. Um, I'm doing that for my children more than I am for myself because I don't want my children plastered all over the internet. And the
And
best way for
that's
me to ensure that that doesn't occur is to not discuss it. Just know, I'm still going through the process. I'm still doing everything that I need to do. And, you know, maybe one of these days I'll be able to share all of the information with you guys, like all of the details and stuff that I wasn't able to share. But that'll be a long way from now. It'll be whenever my kids become adults, and they're like, yeah, sure, go ahead and share it. I feel like they're probably not going to say go ahead and share it, but
So that means, guys, you've got to stick around for at least the next 10 years before you're going to hear any of that.
yeah. So, I mean,
However, Tiffany, it's great that you are able to see that you have the bias. And it's great to know that there are people like you out there who have gone through an experience, um, and that you are now wanting to help other
One
people.
thing you should share
Mhm.
is that we're not in DCS right now. People
Right.
need to know that the Kaiser lies, that needs to be.
Oh,
It's
okay.
been a long time since there's been any DCS involvement with your kids.
I guess that is one thing that I can share. Um,
Just tell them the rumors are false.
so Chris just informed me that there's some
Still some
misinformation
haters out there.
I have not had an actual, case involving DCS since 2019. There have been a few reports that were called in from the hater channels, and those were false. I went through the process, and I wasn't quite as open as I used to be whenever DCS was investigating these claims, but I gave them more than enough to be able to know that what was being said was false. Which leads me to one of the things that I intend to share with you guys. Because a couple of these reports that came in don't specifically talk so much about the kids, it's more focused on me or Chris. Those are reports because, they are ours. And if we choose to share them, we can. Somebody else sharing them sort of goes against the law because those are protected documents. But we can share them. And as long as it's not focused on the kids, I feel like that would be something beneficial for you guys to be able to see. You can learn a lot from those documents, not just what the report itself looks like whenever you receive one in the state of Indiana. I'm sure other states vary a little bit, but just in general, like what your number is, how to locate your number. And as I've said before, your number is literally your tracking number through the Department of Child Services. They know where you're moving to, where you're employed, how much you're making, if you are having any more kids, because they're connected into all of the systems. If you're receiving any type of assistance, I just seen that pop up there. The Bowman 100. I actually did read the whole executive order, as some were freaking out about it and their benefits, and that will be what you need to read. It will not affect SNAP, SSI, etc. Thank you for that information. Yeah, that's definitely something that I want to read more about before I try to share it with you guys, because I would be blindly trying to share information, and I don't like to do that. OMC, can I ask a question? Yes. But anyway, back to the reports until that question pops up. I want you guys to be able to see and understand what the reports look like and be able to understand them, because I didn't understand a lot of the stuff that I was being thrown into. And that's the key. If you don't understand a process, how are you going to fight against it? And that's what I want to give you guys. I want to give you guys all of the information that I've learned and obtained in, I think I started dealing with DCS in 2018. So from 2018 until now, that's a lot of years. And I can promise you I have spent the majority of my free time up until I started school reading about DCS. I sat down and read their entire policy manual, which is updated. So I need to make sure that nothing changed.
So then to get back to the original question, because we never really did get an answer. Oh, wait a minute. I'm doing it again. I'm telling you what to do on your channel.
Stop it.
Um, but we, since this is something that Tiffany has asked me to help with, we need to know for sure if your audience wants to start with the history of where DCFS started and go from there.
Mhm. I personally feel like it's beneficial to at least get the basic understanding of why they were created to begin with, because then you understand how the agency has become what it is today. What is 4PS new site? 4PS, will you put that link in the chat, please? And thank you. But yeah, understanding why they were created and what their given goals were is going to be detrimental in understanding what they do today. A lot of people have came at me sideways whenever I say, DCS gets a kickback whenever, they take a child. Well, they absolutely do get a kickback. That was part of their creation. So I feel like it's important. Can I see some ones just to clarify if you guys would like to have like just a quick overview? I don't want to go into anything major because I'll share the links out and you guys are more than welcome to see where I got my information. Black Ops Team for Support tab.
I
will tell
personally
you
myself
guys,
love to hear the history of things.
I will tell you guys that it was the 1963 Social Security Act.
Hang on.
I believe.
Let me hang on.
I'm just trying to remember because I've had to do 2 papers for school since I was last reading that. So I believe it was 1963 because they did make some changes in 64. But I think it was
actually it was initiated in 1935.
Oh, that I think is the citizen creation of what eventually did turn into the Department of Child Services.
Okay,
So,
we'll see.
I started to just splurt out there. I was starting to say, well, if I'm remembering correctly, but yeah, I don't want to throw into that yet. We'll do that on our next Friday. So this coming Friday, or is it this coming Friday? Yes, this was the impromptu. So this coming Friday is going to be one of the scheduled ones that we are dedicating to DCS. And that's when we'll go over the history, and I will give you guys the links so that you can go and see everything for yourself. I will try to get some screenshots within each of those document links that we can put up on the screen as I'm discussing everything. And then I think we'll go from the history into the basic understanding of what a report looks like whenever it's initiated through the Department of Child Services. Like whenever they show up at your home, the report that they hand you, what it is that you're looking at, and how to understand it. So I think that's what's going to be coming this Friday. There were a couple of channels that I wanted to see if the mods may have already been putting the links in for me. And
They
so
have been.
you guys are awesome, and I truly appreciate you guys. So it was G2 Brief is one of the channels that I wanted to highlight on. He shares out a lot of awesome information involving mental health. So if you guys would like to go over and subscribe to him, if that's a topic that you are interested in, he has a lot of interesting information. And then the other one is one of the funny channels that I enjoy getting to go and see, and that is Spider Dog. And I think I've seen that link also. And then there was one more that I had shared. I think it was Nightmare's Adventure.
Nightmare's Adventure, Freeman Press, Witchy Woman.
Yes. And that's another thing that I ask my mods to do is once we, mention a channel, just to, throw the link up a couple of times in the chats following. I don't know how I'm going to maintain that once we get a couple of weeks in under our belt. I think that it would just be, a chat full of links, and I don't want to do that. So I think we're going to have to go on like a rotation schedule. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys about that behind the scenes, like how we can, rotate that and make sure that the links still stay circulating. And then of course I will pin a comment in the chat after the live stream. It may take me a little bit, so just be patient with me. I already do have the links though this time, so that's a plus. Last time I didn't, I had to go and fetch them. But I'll pin them in the comment section. That way, if you guys don't get them now and you need them or would like to have them, they're easily accessible. I think that's about it that I had wanted to cover today.
Okay, so
we're at like an hour 51.
Yep. While we still have an audience, let's pin down a time for Friday the 21st.
Yes, that way I can make sure that I am on time to my own live stream. Where did Lucy's link go?
Lucy went to the movies. She wanted to stick around and say hi.
I'm happy that she's going
went
to
the movies.
She's doing, some fun
Real
stuff
life
that
things.
she's definitely deserving of. I like it whenever she tells me that she's taking a break and going and doing some fun stuff. Thank you guys so very much. I'm seeing all of the awesome chats. Except for Jason Casey, who are you firing?
Can you help Courage to be better? Because I don't do anything on my phone. Anybody who knows me knows I don't do anything on my phone, so I'm not able to tell him.
Let me see if I can figure that out really quick.
And you're thinking about a time also.
Yes. Is 8:30 okay? I think that 8:30 works for me, and it allows like a little bit of a courtesy window for the other channels that usually do go on around 8, because I don't want to completely step on anybody's toes. I'm trying to be respectful, but if I tried to, be respectful of everybody's channel, I don't think that I would ever get to go live, because I watch so many different channels whenever I do have the free time to do it. Thank you, VOP. There's Lucy's link. All right, so I guess
so this Friday at 8:30.
Yes, 8:30. Nightmare's Adventure, you didn't miss a lot. Just me talking about DCS stuff and sharing out your channel. Telling people to go over there, check it out, and subscribe. Trying to remember if there was another one. I hate to miss a channel.
Let's see. You have Lucy, Witchy Woman, G2, Spider Dog, The Real 4PS,
Hmm.
Exposed TV,
Right.
Scars, Tab,
Flow state.
Flow State, The Powdered Dusty, um, did I say? I think I said Freeman Press.
On your way out, go ahead and make sure you cap David Lowe's case. Just that he's innocent.
Okay.
There will be more on the real 4PS on that.
Okay.
You will have more on that as well. Or,
Mhm.
can they hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can y'all hear me?
Y'all are getting these updates?
Yes.
Like on our way out, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and cap this thing off with what it was about. So David Lowe was innocent. His case was dismissed. Spread the word, everybody, all over the internet, please. And then there will be more footage from that case coming up on both of our channels in the very near future. We appreciate and love everybody that has helped us out in sharing information while the For Public Safety channel has been down. So thank you all very much for that. That includes Flow State, Lucy, and Spider. I mean, there's been so many people we can't sit here and name them.
Right.
But
I'm going to work through the list though. Like I'm going to work through the list. And some of the channels that I'm sharing out hasn't, specifically shared anything about us, but they have either shared something that is funny and something that I'm interested in, which is why I probably watch them to begin with. Oh, thank you, VOP. Ben Buttercup. Yes.
Yeah,
How
Ben
can we
Buttercup.
forget Ben Buttercup?
There's so many. We could do like a whole stream on it.
Yes. We said at the same time.
Right. Well, because we kind of need to wrap it up. We got to get up really early.
Yes.
But just so you all know, we love you and thank you so much for all the support. And it's meant a great deal to us.
Mm-hmm.
How much you've been here behind the scenes, knowing that For Public Safety channel has been down. Like, we can't tell you how much that means to us that you're still here.
Yep. Especially since I haven't published stuff in so long. And then whenever I do publish stuff, I'm delayed because I get my wires crossed. But, I still love you guys. Hope you still love me.
Well, I can tell you that you had at one point in time tonight in here 221 people.
Nice. That is awesome. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys who are in chat and who came here and watched and who's going to be watching later. So with that being said, after Chris gave an update, I am going to log out and go and get my homework finished because today is the last day of my term and school. So that's the other thing that's been making things a little hectic.
And can I share your Discord link?
Yes. I also have that posted in my last live stream, the chat. I have it pinned. I think it's at the bottom of the section. So, all right. I'm going to get off here, guys. I'm going to go get my homework done, and I will see you guys on Friday. Love you guys. Thank you all so very much.